I can actually move the gimbal around by using this. So this is just the main screen before I take off right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take off, and we're going to just talk about some of the controls that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. It gives me this complete check or do not show again, and it just here just to show to make sure that I have the propellers in the right place, or else the drone will not fly properly. So all of them are in place. You can read this. I'm going to go ahead, check complete. I could go ahead and do not do again. So I'm going to go ahead and take off. All right, so
take off.
The propellers are going. I'm just going to raise it up a little bit.
The home point has been
take
updated.
Off a little bit.
Please
and I'm going to fly around and just give you a little bit of scenic area. I'm going to move the gimbal a little bit just to see, so you can see what I'm looking at right here, ocean right here. I'm just going to go over the water a little bit. Right now, if you look up in the upper left-hand corner, it says in mode. So that's normal mode. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm flying. Normal mode, it's normal mode. It's normal, I guess. Gives you that right here. Everything is kind of steady, you know, nothing too abrupt. You see I'm coming back. Everything's very smooth. But there's also a Cine Mode. If you have your controller, you can actually use the Cine Mode. I'm going to switch that left. And you see it says Cine Mode slow and smooth. Look at that. I'm going one direction. It looks really smooth. The acceleration is really smooth. Nothing abrupt at all. And then let me go ahead and go backwards. All right. So it says C Mode in the upper left-hand corner if you're looking at it. All right. So you have that. And I'm going to go forward. And I'm going to go to Sport Mode. All right, so I'm going to go ahead in sport mode, and I'm going to show you the difference. It says obstacle avoidance is deactivated, so that's one thing you should be aware of. Now, watch sport mode, and I use this when I need to get to one place or get back relatively quickly. I don't really use this for capturing a lot, but see, it moves very quickly. Look at that. You see that? Come back, moves very quickly. All right. Now, there's one thing with the flying. You can actually have be flying around, and it gives you a feeling like you're actually in the drone. And I'm going to show you that really quick, because like right now, when I fly around, the gimbal adjusts for my movement. If I'm going left or right, just like that. Now, I'm going to go into settings. If you look at the upper right-hand corner, there's 3 dots. I'm going to go ahead and press that. And then right in there, I'm going to go down a little bit. We're going to go over all of these in a minute. But the gimbal mode, if you see right here, it says gimbal mode. It says, it gives you 2 options. It has follow mode and it has FPV mode. Now, FPV mode, I'm going to show you what it looks like. FPV mode, the gimbal will not move when I move the drone, when I fly the drone. Now, watch this. You see how this right here? So wherever the wind is blowing and the drone, however way it's tilted, it's going to move in that direction. Now watch this. I'm going to fly, and it looks like, look at that. That's FPV mode. I'm flying, and it looks like, it looks pretty cool. Good, nice effect. You know, you can also use this. I'm in sport mode. You can use it actually in Cine Mode too. It's a little bit smoother, but same thing, right? So I'm just going to come on back. I'm going to get out of that mode. I haven't really used that mode too much because I just don't have any use for it in my type of videography. So I don't use that much. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of that. I'm going to go back to follow mode and get out of that screen. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool feature. While we're out here, I'm going to go into the controls pretty soon, but while I'm on this screen right here, I'm going to go over the various controls, or not controls, the features that are on the screen for you right here. So at the top, again, we talked about in mode. All right, so that's normal mode. I can switch it to S mode, which is sport, or to Cine Mode, and I'm doing all of that with the controller. To the right of that, it lets you know that I'm in flight. All right, so I can tap on at the upper left-hand corner. It says in mode, and then right next to that is in a flight. I'm going to tap on that with my finger, and it shows the flight. It shows pre-flight check is normal, auto return home altitude. So when you're returning home, it goes to 100 meters. If you can do the math, that is 300 yards, or 100, no, hold on. I get that right? No, that's 300 yards, if that makes any sense to you. So you have that. And then flight protection. You can actually alter the flight protection. If you look underneath it, it says flight protection. Max altitude. It has 300 meters right there. I can slide it left or right, okay? Depending on your local laws, this may change. Local laws change. So I keep it at 300. That's what the default is for this right here. And then the max distance that your drone can possibly go, I have it at 8,000 meters. That can also change as well. It can go all the way up to no limit, okay? And it says fly with caution. I'm going to go to 8,000 meters. All right. So it says there's an indicator at the top that's saying manned aircraft. So I'm going to get back because that's a warning feature. I don't want to have any smoke with any manned aircraft. So I'm going to get away from that, or look at my actual radar to see where the manned aircraft is. Whenever you see that, you be cautious, because you don't want to hurt anyone. You don't want anybody to, you know, get hurt or anything. So use caution whenever you see that. All right, we're going to move to the right a little bit. All right, it says manned aircraft detected nearby, fly with caution. All right, so it shows, I pulled up the map at the lower left hand corner, and it shows the manned aircraft right there. It's flying around. It's in an area. I'm at a low enough altitude to where it would not be an issue with that, but it shows me where the manned aircraft is and where it's headed. And so it lets me know, so I can avoid that at all costs. So that's a great feature that DJI has.
Manned aircraft approaching.
FlySafe. It says manned aircraft flying. I don't see it right now, but it may be really high. I came down. I'm bringing the drone down to a low enough height to where it will not be an issue with that manned aircraft wherever it is. All right, so that's manned aircraft. It seems to be flying close to me, but I'm at a low enough altitude where that will not be an issue. All right, so we're going to keep on going with that on the screen. So if you look at the top right hand corner, there's something with a 60 right there. That's to indicate of how much battery life I have. All right, so I have 60 right there. It goes all the way down. When you get down low enough, it'll tell you to return home. And if it gets too low and it calculates how far it is away from you, it will actually go home automatically if you have that feature set. All right, so if you move to the right and you look at the 15, it's 16, it shows how many minutes of flight time I have left. Now that's an estimation, that is not, or an approximation. That is, I mean, they can vary depending on the wind speed and a few other factors. All right, so that's the time. I have 14 minutes and 58 seconds right now. If you move to the right at the top right hand part of the screen, it says RC. Now the RC stands for remote control, and it shows how much strength your remote control has as far as how far your drone is. So if the RC has all those bars right there, you have a good connection with your drone. All right, so that's that. All right, and then vision sensors. All right, so vision sensors is right next to that. It shows normal vision sensors. Okay, that means that you have obstacle avoidance. You know, your sensors are clear and it can actually see to avoid objects that are flying or you're flying near. And then the next on the far right, it shows the, I just tapped on it. It says strong GPS signal. GPS satellites, there's 25 that my drone is connected to at this point. So that's that right there. We're going to move on down to the left-hand side. To the left-hand side, if you look right here, there is a hectagon. I believe that's a hectagon. Or, yeah, hectagon or oxagon. One of them. I think it's a hectagon with a triangle right there. I'm going to tap it and I'm going to show you. It says safety assistant mode for sideways is off. Do you see that? There's no bars on the sideways. I'm going to tap it again and they're back on. So you can turn on and off the safety assistant mode by simply tapping on it. All right, and just below that is the home button. You can press that and the drone will fly home. I'm going to go ahead and tap it, and it gives me options. And it says land aircraft. The aircraft will land in its current location. If I tap on the land right there, return home, aircraft will automatically fly to a preset altitude, which of course we saw earlier, which is 100 meters, and then return to the home point and hover. So I can do either one of these. I can tap these. I'm going to go ahead and tap these so you can see what this does really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and tap this, and you got to hold on, and then you hold it, and then it's going to go return home. But I don't want to return home, so I'm going to cancel. I'm going to cancel that. I cancel it by pressing the cancel button, right? And that is that feature. All right, and then we have the map. If you look to the left-hand side, it says map right here, okay? It says map right here. Well, it doesn't say map. It shows a map, and it shows the location of where the home point is, which you see the H right there. That is for home. And then the triangle represents the drone and the direction where the drone is facing. The gimbal is facing right there. Great feature. I can tap on it, and it blows up the map, and it shows you see the squiggly lines right there? It shows you the route that the drone has taken during this flight. And to the lower left-hand corner right now, it shows the actual video footage of what the drone is looking at. All right, I can tap this again. I can put points in here. All right, I'm not exactly sure what these place markers are for, but I'm going to go ahead and place one in there. All right, and then right on the right-hand side, there's a lot of different things. There's an I, that's for information. It shows different things that you can select. It shows approved zones, regulatory restricted zones, warning zones, enhanced warning zones, authorized zones, altitude zones. You can select to get warnings for all of these. I keep the selects because I like to play by the rules, so I keep that. I'm going to go down, and then right here, I don't exactly know. Oh, yeah. Exactly know what that does right here. All right, so we're going to go, and then there's a home button. What is that? Oh yeah, so you can tap on this and it shows you where the drone is. Tap on it again, I can tap the H and it shows you where the home is. All right, so that's that feature. And this is the topographical map. It can show you the standard. You can go to satellite. That shows you satellite right there. That's the satellite footage. All right, we can go right here. It goes mixed, so it shows the road and the satellite mix, which is good to have. You can actually fly with either one of these modes. Really helpful, especially like when you want to know what you're really dealing with, what you're flying with. All right, it's great to have that satellite footage. All right, so I'm going to go back to the standard. And then also right here at the bottom, it shows the airplane. I tapped on it. You have the options of getting warning for high collision risk, medium high collision risk, and low, medium, high collision risk. You can tap on any one of these, and these alerts will allow you to fly safely. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. All right, now to get out of this map screen right here, I'm just going to simply tap on the map, just like that, and it brings it back up. All right, so it brings it back up. The map's right there. It's nice to have the map right there, but say, for instance, you want nothing but the screen itself, okay? Nothing but the visual screen that the DJI is looking at. You just simply look at this map right here, and you can tap several things. You see I tapped, it changed right here. Upper left-hand corner of the map, I tapped a button, and it shows me the true north. It aligned the map to true north. I can tap it again, and it shows this right here. All right, it shows true north, and then this right here is another direction. All right, so we have that, and I'm going to tap on other things right here. There in the lower right-hand corner of the map, I'm going to tap that arrow. See what it does? It just shows the compass in which direction that I'm at. All right, if I tap on it again, or tap on the location thing at the bottom, it brings this back up. All right, so if I want to minimize this, there is a dash mark in the upper right-hand corner of the map. I'm going to tap that, and it actually zooms in. All right, and if I tap it again, it zooms out. All right, now if I want to close this, in the lower left-hand corner of the map, I'm going to tap that little corner triangle thing, and that minimizes the map and gives me a full screen of what the gimbal is looking at, the camera is looking at. Pretty cool feature. All right, so we have that, and then I'm going to move on. We talked about height and the distance. It shows at the bottom left-hand corner the height of the drone and the distance of and this is all representative of where I took off at. All right, so if you're on a cliff or something, and you moved off a little bit, it may not be representative of how high you are off the ground that you're hovering off of, but it shows you how high you are from the place you took off from. All right, so we're gonna go to the right hand corner. As you can see right here, it shows storage. The storage right there with the memory card that I have in there, I have 15 minutes of storage, 15.1 minutes of storage. I tapped on it and it shows right here 15 gigabyte total. It's a 15 gigabyte. No, I have total of 118 gigabytes on the card, 15 gigabytes available right there. And I'm not sure exactly what on the left hand side is. I think that might be the catch on the actual drone, 7 gigabytes. All right, I'm gonna get out of that. Yeah, that's for the storage for the drone, but this is for the memory card. You can store on the drone or the memory card. All right, so it shows you how much space I have on there. And then the resolution, if you look to the right of that, it shows the resolution. The resolution, I have it at 5K, 30 frames per second. I can tap on that. I can change it to 4K, 27K, 1080p. And also when I'm selecting these different sizes, 5K, 4K, 27, I can also change the frames per second. All right, so you can really change the frames per second, which is cool. You can go to the cinematic effect and get the 24 frames per second, or you can do the high frame per second, which I like to shoot at is 60 frames per second. All right, so with 5K you can go 24, you can go all the way up to 30 frames per second in that mode. All right, so I'm going to click on that, and if you go to the right hand side, there's EV. All right, you can tap on that, and that is the exposure. All right, so I can go all the way up to make it highly overexposed or underexposed, or just put it back at normal. There's actually an auto feature where it can automatically do that. All right, so we did that on the screen. Next, I'm going to go to the AF. Now that is autofocus. Okay, it's in autofocus, so no matter where I'm at, the camera will automatically focus on the the object ahead. All right, so all right, you see what I'm doing right here? I can actually highlight an area on my screen. So you see that I just tapped the screen and drew a circle, and it says spotlight unavailable at framing in high frame rate. Okay, so there's a high frame rate and spotlighting is not available. I'm not exactly sure with that and letting you know, so that's something you may need to research. All right, so we did that. I'm running out
Battery level is low.
I'm running
the
out
aircraft
of
will go to the
power,
home point
so I'm
in
going to have
10
to turn
seconds.
home and put another battery on. If you can see right here, it says
go home.
I could press confirm where I got out of the rain stopped, and so now I'm going to go ahead and show you. We talked about moving the gimbal higher than the plane that it's on, and you can lower it just like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the controls that are also on the right hand side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go over here. We talked about the autofocus and manual focus option right here. I'm going to talk about the controls on the right hand side. If you look at the right hand side, you will see 3 dots at the upper right hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. And so when I tap on that, I'm just going to go through some of the features down here. It says, like, for safety is the #1 thing right here. It's the first thing. They try to emphasize safety. You see there's safety control camera right here. The safety is what they emphasize, and it goes on to the first option is obstacle avoidance right here. You can do different things. You can have the for obstacle avoidance, you can have it brake, where it will stop once it comes towards an obstacle, or you can do a bypass where it'll try to maneuver around it. I typically do brake. If I'm flying around other drones, I will do bypass, because I think braking is not good enough with flying around close to other drones or anything like that. So I'll do bypass. If I'm flying close to objects like trees or something, I'll often do brake right there. Or if I'm trying to do some tricks in between trees, sometimes I'll do it off. Now, the aircraft will not avoid detected obstacles, so be warned. You may end up damaging your aircraft or something if you have obstacle avoidance off. So it's always good to keep it on in some form of the other. All right, so next we have a max altitude. Now you can change this from the other screen, but here is in the controls right here. So where you can change the max altitude. Right now it's currently set to 311 meters. I'm gonna put it to 300 meters. And the max distance is 8,000 meters, which you can actually change to no limit records, okay? So keep it at, make them say, like 8,000 meters, right? So I keep it there, 300 meters. It may vary depending on your local laws, so be aware of that and do not exceed that. I don't want anybody breaking the law. Auto return to altitude. Auto return home altitude. So right now its settings at 100 meters. I mean, that's the default. Now that pretty much sets it to 100 meters. I mean, you can avoid some trees and some other objects right there, but you may want to adjust it depending on your location. It can go all the way up to 300 meters or as low as 20 meters. I'm going to go ahead and set it back to 100 meters right here. All right, so that's the default. And then you can update home point. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Return at home aircraft will rise. Okay, that's part of the return home altitude thing. So return home point right here. I'm going to go ahead and select that, and it goes right here. You can change the home point. You just drag the position. You see that? You can drag the home point to be wherever you want to be. Like, all right, that's a pretty cool feature right there. All right, you can just drag and drop it. All right, so if you press the triangle, it brings it back to where the it really originally is. All right, you see that? And all right, so I don't want the home point. I'm going to bring it right over there. And the controller right here, that it shows where the controller is. If I tap on the controller, it actually brings the home point to where my controller is. So I can change the home point to where the controller is, or I can go to where the triangle is and make that. Right now it's currently close to some water. I do not want to do that, so I'm going to bring it towards the controller as home. You can cancel, or you can go ahead and accept by going OK.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Updated, so I just did that. So I'm going to go ahead and down, and then compass is normal. You can calibrate. All right, I'm not going to do that right now while I'm in here. So it shows you how to calibrate it right here. You just read the instructions, keep the air power powered, and avoid starting the motors. All right, so the motors cannot be going where it says avoid starting the motors. But that's how you calibrate the compass. All right, it's pretty handy. You know, you want to have that calibrated. Right here it says IMU calibration. Place aircraft on a level surface. Calibrate the aircraft as shown. Only move the aircraft when prompted. And instruction: the aircraft powered and on, and avoid starting the motors. So that's right there. This is IMU calibration. Read your owner's manual so you understand how to do that correctly. We're just going to go ahead and go down a little bit. I'm going to go down to battery info. So in here, it shows the battery status right here. It shows right here, there's 3 cells within the battery. It shows the battery voltage, how much voltage it has, the battery temperature, which is very important, as well as serial numbers for that. I should block that out so no one really knows my serial numbers. And the battery times that are charged. It says how many times the battery is charged, and it shows the production date. Really important stuff right there. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. And I'm going to go ahead and down, and it says auxiliary LED. You can turn on the auxiliary LED. Auxiliary light is on right now. All right, so you can have the auxiliary LED on, or you can turn it off. So that's a cool feature right there. And you can have auto, where it is light enabled, so it'll automatically adjust to that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go down. Unlock Geo Zone. All right, so you can unlock aircraft unlocking licenses. I'm not going to do that right here because there is no unlocking licenses right here. All right, so you can do find my drone right here. It says right there, it finds your drone. Like say for instance, it goes missing. You can actually find the drone. It can start flashing and beeping. Say for instance, it lands someplace and you don't know where it is. It starts flashing and beeping if you want to. And you can use other maps. Go ahead and get out of this. I don't know why I did that. Find my drone. I'm going to get out of this right here. Let's see. Go back. How do I go back? Go back. All right. So it can do that. All right. Pretty cool feature right here. Home right here. It has the north. You can tap this and it can bring it to true north if you want to. Right here, true north, it's pointing true north. You can change it from satellite. All right, you see that? That's a satellite of where I'm at right now. Or I can go to mixed view where it shows the mixed and the standard map. Or you can press the home and it shows where the home is, and it shows right there where the drone is, home, and the drone, where the drone is and where home is. All right, so pretty cool feature right there for finding the drone. Safety settings. All right, so we're down to safety settings. We're going to click on that, and you can signal lost. Okay, so if your drone becomes lost, you can have this feature on, and the drone will return home if the signal is lost. You can change it from return home if the signal is lost to descend, or you can go to hover, which I'm not going to do. I want it to return home. I don't want it to descend, and I don't want it to hover. I want that bad boy to come home because I really love my drone. All right, emergency propeller should stop. You can actually have emergency propeller to stop, emergency only. Okay, anytime, use with caution. You can have it stop at any time. Like, say for instance, emergency only, like you can stop it. I have not dove into anytime, okay, because I feel like you can actually stop the drone mid-air and the propellers will stop. I don't want to do that. Okay, all right, so AirSense, move both controls towards the bottom, inner or outer corners corners simultaneously to AirSense. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it says when enabled, DJI Fly will notify users there are manned aircraft in nearby airspace. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So when enabled, DJI Fly will notify users if there are manned aircraft in airspace. So it'll let me know if there's a manned aircraft anywhere near if I do that. I haven't really dove into that, so I am not the person to come to for that information. So check that out in the owner's manual. It can be some help to you. All right, so we're going to go down. Aeroscope. I'm not too familiar with any of this flight information. You can have this put into your device. It says remote identification allows observers on the ground to track where an aircraft is flying and who is piloting, much like automobile license plates. Okay, providing your personal information is optional. So if you want to do that, I'm not going to do that. All right, so that's your identification information, flight information right here, identification. If you want to let them know. I'm just going to go back. And all right, we've done that. Now we're going to go to control. All right, so we're going to go to control. Right here, you can change it from metric meters, okay, to metric kilometers to imperial. I don't like the way that sounds, but I'm assuming that is feet. All right, so I'm not going to keep it there. I'm going to go back to metric. A subject scanning, you can actually have this on. When enabled, the aircraft automatically scans and displays subjects in the camera view only. Available for single shot photos and normal video recording. You can go ahead and change that. You can turn that on. Great feature to have. We talked about the follow mode and FPV mode. We did that earlier. All right, early in the video, I showed you how that works. You can follow mode where the gimbal works like a camera, gives you steady shots. FPV mode gives you like you're actually flying the device itself. So you're actually in the device yourself. It makes it seem that way. Now, upward gimbal rotation. Okay, gonna get out of that. Upward gimbal rotation. All right, so where was that at? Right. Upward gimbal rotation. Remember I had that on? It allows you to see upwards, right? It allows you to see upwards, and for the gimbal, I can turn it on or off. I'm going to show you the difference between it. All right, so I'm going to turn it off. Now look, and I can turn my gimbal. It can only go so high. All right, you see that? It only goes so high. But if I turn upward gimbal on, I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down to here, and I'm going to turn it on. Right? I'm going to turn it on. Now watch. I can actually see the upper gimbal. Look at that. It goes all the way up and I can see into the sky. I really like that feature. Some people don't like it, I guess, but I find it quite useful when I am recording. All right, so I'm going to go right here, and actually you can see what's above you. All right, so I'm going to go right here. I'm going to click on that, the 3 dots. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to keep that on. It says Gimbal Calibration. You can actually place aircraft on a level surface, calibrating the gimbal, keep aircraft stationary, auto, manual. So you can do that, but I'm currently flying, so I'm not going to do that.
Battery
so
level is low. The aircraft will go to the home point in 10 seconds.
Battery low. It says return home. I'm not going to return home. I got 5 minutes, so maybe I'll show one more thing. Stick mode, you can actually change different stick modes. I keep mine in 2. You can go to mode 2, or you can customize it for how the gimbal stick modes operate. So I'm going to keep that as plain as simple. Auxiliary LED, you can tap this. You can change this, tap all of these, toggle map view, all of these, gimbal follow mode, all of these right here. Great features right here for the function key, which is on the upper left-hand corner of the controller. Do you see that yellow dot right there? It's great to have for the function mode. You can actually program it to something that you use quite often. Great. RC calibration, power off, and it'll calibrate the controller. I'm not going to do that because I have it on. Flight tutorial, I can do that later. I'm not going to do that right now. So flight tutorial, ensure it landed before you enter flight tutorial. I'll do that maybe later. All right, so I'm going to do that control. I'm going to land, and then I'm going to actually put in a new battery because I'm running low right here. I'm going to get back to you. I hope this is helpful. We'll come back soon for another part. All right, so I'm going to go back into the screen. We were just at calibration and flight tutorial. I'll do the flight tutorial later. I got some battery back on. Let's see how much I actually have left. I have about 17 minutes left on here. All right, so we're going to go over to camera. So if you look up at the top, there is the camera option. I'm going to slap on that, press on that, and it gives you different formats. You can go in the MP4 format, or you can go to the MOV, the move format. And I believe that's Apple's, I'm not sure. You have to look that up. But I usually do MP4, and I have no problem going on Windows or Apple products with MP4. Move, you have to check that out. But I use MP4. We're going to go down. You can do D-Log, HGLG, or right here it says color display asset enabled, the footage displayed in more natural colors in real time. Okay, so you can do that. Let's see what it looks like. Real time, more natural colors. Okay, whatever. All right, so I keep it in normal. All right, whatever that is. And anti-flicker, I keep that in auto. So depending on your lighting source, you may decide to go 50K or 60K, your options, or you can actually turn it off. I keep mine in auto. Video subtitles, I really don't know what that is, so I just keep that on right here. I'm not exactly sure what the subtitles, that feature means, so I just keep that right there. Histogram, you can actually turn that on. An overexposure warning, it shows you overexposure, so you can see the spots where there's a histogram right in the middle. And if you need to, if you want to X that X out of that, you can just press the X to get rid of the histogram. Or the overexposed, it shows you the overexposed areas right here with the zebra lines going through that. You can actually turn that on or turn that off. I'm gonna go back in here. They see the histogram turned off once I hit the X. But the overexposure warning, I can go ahead and click that, and you see that the areas that are overexposed, the white, they're no longer having a zebra in there. So the overexposure warning is very useful, especially if you're not really comfortable with knowing what's overexposed or underexposed. There's an auto feature that can do that for you, but we'll get to that later. Peaking, all right, you can have the peaking off right here, low, normal, or high. Now, with peaking, let me explain to you what peaking is. So with peaking, all right, with peaking, it'll show you what is in focus when you have it in manual focus mode. See, I just tapped the that button right there. It shows everything that is has the red on it, that is peaked. That is showing that that is the area that is in focus. Those areas are in focus. I've turned an auto focus, that will not be on. So you can do that, especially when you're doing manual focus. You can have that peaking on. I use that, and you can go from high, normal, or low depending on how much of the peaking you want. So that's low, and you just see subtle amounts of peaking on the areas that are in focus. Now, some people can turn that off if you want to. I keep my peaking level off when I'm doing drone, because type of video footage that I record does not require that level of focus or precision. All right, so peaking level. All right, next we have white balance. We have auto and manual. All right, so you can actually adjust the white balance. See how it's really cool right there, blue, or you can warm it up, go all that. Sometimes you want to go for that warm look like the sun is setting. Great. But if you're unfamiliar with that, always just go with auto, and it gives you that right there. You can probably adjust it in post if you know how to do that, or if you just don't want to worry about that stuff, just keep it in auto and be happy. All right, so going down, we have the storage location. The card, I have 100, I think is a 24-bit. It's 100 gigabyte, whatever. It's 100 something gigabyte. It's down because of I don't know, but right now the total that it's saying is 118.9 gigabytes. I have 15.7 gigabytes available. There's internal storage inside of the drone, and in internal storage I have not used any of it, but it has 7.2 gigabytes storage. 7.1 is available. All right, so I can go right here. I can format either one of those. I'm not going to press that format button because it'll erase the stuff that I have. So I'm not going to do that. So it has, I'm going to keep it right here, over here. That, you know, I'm not going to use internal storage. I'm not going to format anything. I don't want to do anything. All right, now there's a cache when recording. Let's say that, all right, cache. You can cache when recording. You can turn that on, or you can turn that off right here. It's a setting right here, and it says max video cache capacity. You can actually change that, and the cache works by working with the internal storage. Okay, so you can, if you have this on, you can change the cache from 2 gigabytes to 4 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes, depending on your storage features, or it has an auto right there. I believe it goes to internal storage, but whatever you have, the cache that can go all the way up to 16 gigabytes or down to 2 gigabytes. All right, so you can also reset camera settings. I am not going to do that, but you can reset the camera settings back to the default of what it was when you first got it by simply pressing the reset camera settings down there. All right, so that's camera. We're going to go to the transmission. All right, so right here, the transmission right here, you can have HD or you can have smooth. So the transmission can go from HD or smooth, and it has a little chart right down here that shows you. I keep it at HD. I don't know why. I just do. That's what it came with. I'm not changing that until I learn more about it. All right, and then you can also change the frequency. All right, so the frequency right here, I keep mine on dual band. You have 2.4 gigahertz right here, and you also have 5.8 gigahertz. I keep it on dual band. That way I can have the most connection with my drone. It'll switch back and forth depending on its needs. Let them handle that. I don't get too much into that. I'm not in an area that has a lot of different frequencies going on, so I keep it on dual band. If you want more information, you might have to seek that somewhere else, because I'm not very well versed in that. And if you go down to the bottom, you'll see right here, it shows stable and unstable. The frequency, it's pretty much stable across the board right here. Right here, it shows a graph. Stable is green, unstable is red. All right, and it's pretty much stable all across the thing. Let me see if I change it to a different hertz. All right, 5.8, it's really stable. 2.4, really stable. Like I said, I'm in an area where it's not, and see, like, look, I turn it to manual, and I can change the area, the frequency where I want to, but it's always fluctuating right here. So it goes to unstable to stable, and that's why I try to keep it always into auto, where it finds an area All right, get out of the 2.4 gigahertz. It seems like that area is pretty 2.4 gigahertz seems like that's a commonly used frequency, and you can get your controls can get confused. All right, so I switched it to 5.8 and it stays relatively stable. Dual band, even more stable, where it selects on its own. All right, so we've done that. Next, we're going to go to the about. All right, so aircraft firmware. It says FlySafe database. It has all of these firmware updates that you can check for updates for the aircraft. For the FlySafe database, you can go ahead and select that, and it updates that. For safety control, you can actually name your aircraft right here. If you select on this right here, you can actually name your aircraft whatever you want to. All right, so we're gonna go to done. DJI aircraft, just keep it at that. Model number, you can see my model of my DJI aircraft is a DJI Air S2. All right, so a 2S, excuse me for my dyslexia. And you can just, all right, so that's the about section. We're gonna get out of that. Next, we're gonna go down to this right here. So we're on the screen. Now, do you see the area right here where on the right-hand side, you have the 3 dots down there, and you go down a little bit, there is a little film strip right there. I'm gonna click on that. Now, right here is the film strip right here, and it gives you different options. You can go from normal to slow motion right there. So normal, you can have in normal mode, you can go ahead, it's on normal right there, click that. You can go to photo, press photo, all right, and you can do single shot, smart shot, AEB, and burst. All of these cool features, I'm gonna let you figure out those on your own, but these are cool features to have for doing shots. You can actually have it timed where it counts down and it does a time. Smart shot, a really cool feature. We're gonna go to video and clicked on video, and no options came up for under video, but I can do slow motion, and I can actually record in slow motion. All right, so that's a pretty cool feature right here. I'm gonna go back to normal, and then I'm going to go down to MasterShots. Now, MasterShots does this cool thing. It shows you in the middle. Based on the subject and distance, the aircraft will automatically shoot a number of clips and create a master shot. It's a great feature to have. So when in MasterShots, all I have to do is press MasterShots and then go press start. All right, you tap and draw a box around something. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this. So I'm gonna show you. Exit out of that, draw a box around something, and then I press start, take MasterShots, and I press start.
3, 2,
and it counts down.
1.
And when it counts down, it's going to go ahead and take a series
Battery
of shots.
level is low.
All right, it's
the
low. I'm going to
aircraft will
come
go
back
to the
and
home
charge,
point in 10 seconds.
and we're going to do that. But it takes a series of shots, of master shots, and it's pretty cool. So I'm going to come back, charge my battery, and do that. All right, so one thing that I did not talk about that I wanted to talk about is the under the control section. We're going to get to flight tutorial in a second, but what I wanted to talk about was the advanced gimbal settings. So I'm going to go right here. You can do calibration. Okay, you can do that when you're on a level surface. That's all fine and dandy, but under control you can go to advanced gimbal settings, and under advanced gimbal settings you can actually change the pitch speed, the pitch smoothness, the yaw speed, the yaw smoothness, pitch speed for different modes. Okay, so that's normal mode, Cine Mode, you can change all of that, and sport mode. You can change the gimbal, how it all moves and everything like there. So that is one feature that is very handy to have right here. So look for that, and you can also reset it. So say for instance you get up in there and you just change something, like, and you forgot what the original settings were. At the bottom you can actually go to the reset, and it resets it to the default mode. And so this is for some advanced gimbal settings people. That is not me, so I just go ahead and do that. And then there's things such as recenter the gimbal. You can recenter the gimbal if you want to. It recenters it. As you can see, it's pointing back down. A beautiful scenery right underneath. So we're going to get out of settings right here. I thought there was a setting where I can actually charge my phone. If I'm using a phone in here, there was a setting that I could actually charge, I believe. Find advanced safety settings, aeroscope. We already went through that. I'm just going to scroll through here a little bit because I thought there was a setting where I can control or actually charge my phone while, I guess they removed that. That was a feature that was really cool. I could actually charge it, but I guess it's not there. Oh well. All right, so we're gonna go back down here, and I'm gonna do the flight tutorial under control. I'm gonna go all the way down, and I'm gonna do a flight tutorial. Ensure aircraft has landed before entering flight tutorial. So I'm gonna go ahead and land this, and I'm gonna do the flight tutorial. So stay tuned for that. All right, thanks a lot. Before we go, I'm gonna go ahead and look at some of these other things. There is also some features on here that you can go to see. There's a camera at the bottom right hand area right here. It says Pro. I'm gonna tap that, and you can go from professional, where you can actually control some of the settings, like right, you see I tapped on the screen. I'm able to control the exposure right here if I want to. I can control the exposure, I can control the focus or anything like on here if I want to in that setting. The EV, I can do it right here, control it, keep it back at 0. A lot of things. I can also change the format of how it's captured. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be an auto or pro. I go to right here at the bottom right hand corner where it says format. Right, currently it says J plus RAW. That's representative of JPEG and RAW. I'm going to go ahead and tap that, and then I can go ahead and change it to just JPEG if I want to. This is for photos right here, and then when I'm done, I just tap out of it. All right, storage, tap on that, shows me the storage. All right, so that's a feature that it has right there. I'm going to tap on this box right here, and I'm going to go right up here. It has like a lot of things. We went over master shot and quick shot, hyperlapse, pano mode, which is really cool. All right, a lot of these modes that are in here. Tap on this triangle right here, and it will allow you to go through all of these, select photos, whatnot. We're not going to do all that. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and land this, and then I'm going to do the tutorial flight mode so you all can see what that looks like. So I have a pretty good view right here, some pretty good footage right here, but I'm going to go over and do the flight tutorial so you can get a grasp of the flight tutorial, which is also very useful. So I'm going to just go right here, and if I want to go ahead and bring it on home, I can either tap on my controller to bring home, or let me close this right here, or I can tap on the left hand side, the H, it says bring home, and it will bring home, return home. I'm gonna go ahead and charge that, and that's it right there. It's gonna return home. All right, and we're gonna do the flight tutorial next. All right, so I'm gonna do the flight tutorial mode. So I'm gonna get back in here, and I'm gonna go under right here. I'm gonna go under controls. You see at the top of the screen right here, it says control. I'm going to go down, and I'm going to tap on flight tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. All right. And it says start pre-flight check. And it'll take off in an open, uncrowded area. Turn up phone volume to hear voice prompts. Ensure that the battery aircraft has a remote controller at least about 40% before flying. All right, start and go ahead.
Perform a safety
All right,
check
check
before
propellers.
you fly.
All right. That's one thing right there. Check gimbal and aircraft orientation. Did that. Everything was out right here. Pretty simple. And I'm going to go ahead and start tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and press this. It says unfold the remote controller antennas and adjust the position of the remote controller and antennas in relation to the aircraft.
Manned
Did that.
Aircraft approaching.
So I'm going to go ahead and do
Flying at
that.
a safe altitude.
And it says, all right, right here says hardware status. All right, hardware status of the device, such as aircraft battery, remote controllers, GPS signal. Okay, next, did that. Flight info, check altitude, distance from home point, did that. Next, front back obstacle detected within 6. Okay, next, did that. Shooting mode, switch between videos, quick shots, and hyperlapse mode, did all that. Camera view, okay, safety check. I have to go through all of this right here, tapped above. All right, so did all that. So this tutorial, and right here it's manned aircraft approaching. I'm landed, so it's not much of a deal, big deal. Auto altitude, everything. Max distance, you know, I can adjust all that. Max altitude, adjust all of that. All right, so that's cool. It says fly with caution. Safety check is in
Learn
place.
how to take
Tap
off.
here to take off. To take off window. So you tap that and it can actually take off if I wanted to. So I can take off by simply tapping on that right here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that to take off and press this, and it's going to go ahead and take off.
Take off.
And
the home point has been updated. Control aircraft to descend.
And it says descend 1 meter. Okay, so I can descend 1 meter.
Control aircraft
if I want to,
turn
but
left.
I'm gonna. It's asked me to do this, but I'm trying to get away from people, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn left.
Control aircraft
and then
to
I can turn right.
Control aircraft to move forward.
And move forward and just go
Control
like this.
Aircraft
It's
to
pretty,
move
and it shows
backward.
backwards, forward.
Control aircraft
I can
to
left
move
right there,
leftward.
and it
Control
shows you, and you
aircraft to
see
move
that
rightward.
it is traveling with it. Translate right. Control sticks. So it's going over all that. So I have
Learn
that
how
all
to
into
land.
place. Tap here to return home. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip that mode because I don't want to turn home. Just tap something. I don't know what I tapped. So I'm just going to go forward a little bit. And it's showing you, tap here to open the return home window. So right here, it shows you your smart return home. The aircraft will fly at its current altitude and return home. It says the aircraft will fly at preset altitude and return home. So there's 2 sections right there. Okay, so for different heights. Obstacle avoidance, return home. When obstacle avoidance is enabled, return home aircraft will ascend vertically when the obstacle is detected. If the aircraft reaches its max altitude, it will hover. Ensure there are no tall buildings or other obstacles in flight route during return home. The aircraft will land on its location. Ensure the landing area is level and free of obstacle. Abort landing in the event of emergency. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to choose right here. I'm going to go ahead and tap this right here, and it's going to return home just like that. It's going to go home, but I'm going to cancel it
to land.
just like that. I just canceled the return home just like that. And tap here to open the return home window. I'm not going to do that. All right, so that's the return home. So that's the quick flight tutorial. It says, are you sure you want to exit the flight tutorial? Go to settings, control, and control to view the tutorial again later. I'm going to opt out of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap here to return home window. And it's going to land. It can land in its current stop. But I'm going to go ahead and stop that because I don't want it to land. So that's the tutorial. And right now I'm just going to go ahead and fly around with the drone. Okay, so I'm going to be in here. And right here, I'm adjusting the yaw. Right here, I can go up, go down right here with the controls and get a good view. Right there, I can take pictures by pressing the right trigger button. Okay, it takes a picture right there. Pretty cool. Nice shot. It's a photo shoot. And I'm going to go ahead and go forward a little bit. And I'm going to get the coastline. Just go nice and steady right here. It says flight tutorial in progress. Max altitude 30 meters. Exit tutorial, confirm. All right, so I don't want to do that anymore. I guess I'm not good with tutorials, I guess I'm going to go ahead and play it by ear. So I'm just going to go ahead and fly this and see what it looks like right here. And I'm just going to record just a little bit of the flight right here. It looks pretty nice. Everything's pretty nice. Gonna be flying around. And sometimes I like to, when I record, record and I actually go backwards right here. I'm going to switch back into camera mode. Let's see. Is that okay? I took a picture. Do I know what I'm doing? All right. So yeah. So switch in between these and everything. And yeah. So I can move around. And I'm just talking right now. But this is pretty cool. So I did the flight tutorial. And that's pretty much the gist of it. You know, I just wanted to show you all some of the features that this has in it. There's a great skyline right here for capturing video footage, pictures if you want to. How do I get back into the camera mode? All right, so I want to get back. Okay, video. Go ahead, switch back to video. So that's video mode right here. I'm in 5K, pretty fresh. pretty fresh right here. I'm just going to be flying around, getting some footage of the skyline or the coastline. Pretty nice. Pretty nice footage right here. Pretty nice footage. Look at the coastline, just driving, and look how smooth it is when I'm flying. All right, so the wind is beating pretty hard, but yet it is really smooth right here with me flying it right here. So I'm going to turn around because I have about 24% left of battery, and I don't want to get this stuck out here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn around and fly back. And right now I have auto exposure, so it adjusts to the exposure automatically according to how bright it is. All right, I'm just gonna go up in altitude really quick, get this in a full screen mode, and just see this. Now look at the coastline. Look how beautiful it is right here. Look how well this can capture. I'm gonna go ahead and screen down just like this. Look at that. I'm gonna change exposure just a little bit, just bring it down a little bit, and look at it. It's just beautiful right here. All right. Look at that. All right, so I hope this was helpful for you all.
Battery level is low. The aircraft will go to the home point in 10 seconds.